Good evening. It is Thursday, 7 p.m., and welcome to Urban Facts. I'm your host, Eamon Hotep Parker, and it is a pleasure to be here with you guys on another Thursday, Thursday evening. So, hope you guys had a great weekend. I certainly had a pretty interesting one. We definitely had some some interesting things happening in the city. We definitely want to definitely get a report going on with that, keep you guys abreast in regards to what's happening in the city of Philadelphia. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk to you guys about a simple traffic stop that went way wrong involving that young man right there. Well, that's the outcome. So that young man right there is Tyree Nichols. He was pulled over, if I'm not mistaken. I hate to look that up there. There you go, Tyree Nichols. Pulled over in, I want to say Memphis, it is. Memphis, routine traffic stop. He was pulled over for, a little reckless driving. Unfortunately, Mr. Nichols' routine traffic stop landed him in the hospital. And he looks like this now. I'm trying to figure out how a routine traffic stop by so-called professional police officers can put a 21-year-old young man into the hospital and have him going from this to this. Unfortunately, Mr. Nichols never left the hospital. 3 days after that, he succumbed to his injuries. I can't even say that we got to be careful in regards to how we drive. I'm not sure what type of reckless driving Mr. Nichols was doing. However, it should not have resulted in that. Nothing should have resulted in that. And it's a shame because this is the type of world that we live in. This young man just turned 21, just starting his adult life. And it was selfishly taken away from him by some unprofessional Memphis police officers who are currently under investigation for the crime. So, also, I want you guys to please say a prayer for my children's grandmother, Miss Victoria Martin. She is currently in the hospital in critical condition. Please send your family. I'm not your family. Please send your prayers to our family in regards to Miss Vicky's speedy recovery we do know God is a healing God, and we are looking forward to the best in this situation. So if you guys could please, just pray for her. Everybody goes through something, and this is my family's time for something. So please keep us in prayer in regards to that, please. We're supposed to be interviewing a young lady today. So I'm not quite sure if time got away from her. But we're supposed to be interviewing Miss Taleah Taylor. She is the community activist, and I believe she's the co-founder of the City of Dreams Coalition. So as soon as she gets on air with us, we will bring her on and start the interview with Miss Taylor. Excuse me. I just wanted to say that it is a travesty that the gun violence in the city is where it is today. Currently, in last year, there have been 181 victims in 2022 due to gun violence. These were victims. So they either got shot or, they give you a more accurate report on that. Yes, they either were shot or killed due to gun violence. My daughter interviewed me today for a project. A wonderful interview, great. And she asked me how we could control the gun violence epidemic. What laws could be put in place. I told her that there could be state laws and federal laws, but the number one law that has to be put in place is the laws at home. Some of you guys have to be very careful in regards to, where you leave your firearm at, or even if it's locked up. If it's not locked up, you have to keep it locked at all times to prevent, unintelligent youth, unintelligent in regards to how to handle a firearm or how to, properly address the situation where you don't need a firearm, but they're going to get one in retaliation. These things have to be nipped in the bud at home. And we as parents have to teach our children, everything doesn't require a violent outcome. When you just shoot somebody because you're mad. This isn't a video game. This isn't Grand Theft Auto where, you can just get hit by a car or shot by a rival gang and the game starts over and you stepping out of the hospital, to try the mission again. I'm sure some of these youth think that way, but it's games like that entice the violent outcome that these youth have. So even with that being said, as parents, we have to watch the type of video game activity and activity period that our children are interacting with. So that could also be another deterrent in regards to how to slow down this gun epidemic in the inner city. Excuse me, my voice is a little raspy. Um, Virginia last Friday, we talked about that. We talked about a young lady. Her name was I don't want to mispronounce this young lady's name. I'm sorry. Let me see here. If I can find her. Give me a second there. I definitely need somebody that'll pull these pictures out for me there. So I ain't gotta keep doing this. But anyway. Let me see here. All right, there you go. So this teacher right here, she was shot by her one of the students in her first grade class. The young man was 6. He intentionally brought the gun to school to shoot the teacher, to shoot her. As I explained last week, the infancy law protects him from going to jail because he's not mentally competent or intelligent enough to be how can I say, charged with the crime that happened. You know what I mean? Is he wrong for what he did? Yes, he is. But according to the law, he doesn't have the mental capacity to have planned out such a vicious act. And it's like I said, he might have just thought it was like, he's seen this on a video game, or maybe one of his friends encouraged him to do it, or, whatever. It wasn't properly thought through, because if it was, his first grade teacher wouldn't have been shot. I mean, she was only shot through the hand and the torso, you know what I mean? Because, that's where, because he was small. So that's where the bullet landed at. But the parents are going to be liable for this, because it's the parents that have to, raise up that child to be a responsible adult. Already, he's on the wrong path. You know what I mean? I'm sure right now he's getting medical attention in regards to the issue. They're trying to figure out, what could have possibly made him, go this far in regards to retaliation for what he might have thought was an issue with his teacher. But it's nothing that, it should be nothing that deep the 6-year-old has, contemplating with anybody that the result, and I mean, that their retaliation for the matter is to try to take somebody's life, because that's what that young man tried to do. The inner city violence is pretty much like nonstop. Let me try to bring you up to speed here. Let me see. I'll try to bring this map here. So, according to, let me see. All right, if I can. It's a map I'm looking at. So, according to this map that I'm looking at, see if I can bring it up on here so you guys can see it too. Hold on. Let's see, share. Let's see, that's right there. Hold it. Can you see that? All right, that's from. Get the other one here. All right, I wanted the other one. Hold it. Let's remove that. Give me a second. This is right here. All right, bet. So I'm gonna have to look at it from here. So on the left-hand side is the race and ethnicity, and this is from the city controller's office. This is for the year 2020. The right-hand side is the age. These are all. These are all associated gun cases in Philadelphia. So currently in 2020, there are 3% white non-Hispanics that have gun cases. These are youth. Well, no, I'm sorry, this is not youth. So this ranges from younger than 18 and older than 45. So from that age range, it's 3% whites. 69%. Well, I'm sorry, 67% black, 21% Hispanic, 0 Asian, 0 unknown. Out of the 100% that are, have common court cases, 10% of them are under the age of 18. Again, out of that percentile of 100%, 55 of them are between the ages of 18 and 30. That's very disturbing. Between 18 and 30, at 18, you should be about to graduate high school. On your way to college, or maybe entering your 12th grade year. At 30, you should have at least 2 years out of college, looking for a job. You may be reestablishing yourself at your mom's house. But according to this report, some of the blacks or whites, because it doesn't really give a direct identifier of who's black or white between the 18 and 30. So we could just say 3% out of the 18 and 30. And what is that? 70% out of, 76% out of the 18 to 30 and black. 3% white, 76% black. They're not coming home from college. They're going into another institution, and that's called the federal prison system. This is where our youth are at today. It's a disparity, like I said, that these youth have been hornswoggled. They've been bamboozled. You know what I mean? Because somewhere in their, how can I say, in their mind, somebody persuaded them and encouraged them that, hey, a life of crime is okay. So, they went on and either they robbed somebody or they shot somebody, you know what I mean? Or they did some other type of illegal activity. It's very hard to figure out why parents are more proactive and the lives of their children. You know, we want more children to be, you know, attending colleges opposed to, you know, the parents taking their kids to, you know, court dates, or, you know, trying to figure out what's happening with them, you know, things like that. Trying to figure out, you know, what can we do to keep my son out of jail. Now, I told you that, now I gotta look at this because I can't see it. 2021, it's 181 youth that were either shot or killed by gun violence. that's 2022. 2021 is 213 people that either shot or killed by gun violence in city of Philadelphia. This is all from Philadelphia. This comes from Axios, Philadelphia. The lowest number, which was 81, was in 2015. We gotta get a hand. You know, we gotta get, you know, a hand on our youth. You know what I mean? The type of work that Miss Taleah does, she actively, you know, goes out into the community and, you know, tries to stop gun violence. You know, that's why we try to get on today. I hope everything is okay with her. But it's more than just one person. It's more than just one organization. You know what I mean? It's more than two. It's going to take more than three. You know, this all has to stop. You know, all has to end at home. To where as though, you know, your children have the probability and the opportunity to have a brighter future. You know, so they're not looking at a court case. You shouldn't be turning 18 and your 18th birthday, you know, your breakout party, if you want to call it that, is your first court case. Or 12, maybe, you know, 12 or 13. You know what I mean? I mean, at 12 or 13, you know, the parents are a little involved, you know, to try to get you out of the situation. At 18, the parents are not involved because now you're legal. So nobody's going to come. You see that where it's 2021 where it says 213? Now it's not really given like a specific age. Let me see here. Well, it's youth. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's youth. So it's anywhere between like 18 and 25. Oh, I'm sorry. This is 18 and younger. So it's not even 18 and 25. It's 18 and younger. So I definitely was wrong. So this is 18 and younger. 213 youth in 2021 were, you know, incarcerated from gun violence. No, shot or killed, I'm sorry, from gun violence. Now, I'm not sure how many people watch this podcast, or, you know, if they don't watch it because they don't like what I'm talking about, and I really don't care. Because if you guys, the parents out there that have these wild kids that's controlling your home, you know, controlling your home, because my kids don't control my home or their mother's home. You know what I mean? My kids are looking forward to, you know, one of them getting ready to go to college. You know, the other one is in a art school, you know, performing arts is what I'm trying to say. And the other one is a year away from going into high school. This is what everybody's kids should be doing between the ages of 13 and 18. So you have to ask yourself, you know what I mean? Let me put this up here again so you guys can take a look at it. Who's at fault here? So if you're looking at the number from 2021, that's 213 youth that was shot or killed by gun violence. And I said, who's at fault? It has to be the person. 9 times out of 10, it's the parent that's raising these kids up. You know what I mean? You have to be careful what type of activities that your children are doing. When they step foot outside of your door, you have to know where they're going at. Now, a lot of you say, well, no, I don't want to do that. That's too much. You have to do that. And in October of last year, I think almost every week of that month, excuse me, a youth was getting killed. Well, killing somebody. I'm sorry. Or getting killed too. It has to stop. Parents, guardians, uncles, brothers, cousins. You can't influence these kids to do harmful acts. And you think the outcome, well, let me walk that back. You can't, I don't think you guys are that ignorant to think that the outcome is going to be good for these kids, you know, going into these situations with these guns. Either you don't know or you just don't care. And some of y'all think that, you know, some of these parents out here think, or, you know, relatives of the parents, you know, that have access to these youth, think that they're training soldiers for the streets. Now, that's not the case. I mean, that's not what should be happening. That is the case. You know, they taking these kids as small as 10, small, younger than that. And they think that they training them for the streets as soldiers for this ridiculous, I guess, gang war, you would call it, or how to survive in life. But these survival techniques are either landing the kids in jail or they're landing them at somebody's funeral home. But like I said, if the parents are more proactive in regards to policing these children, you know, trying to find out where you're going at. You know, if your kid go outside, say, hey, where you going at? You know what I mean? I don't care if they 17, 18, 25. They ain't even got to live with you. You their parent. You got a right to ask that question. Now, you know, regardless of if they answer, that's entirely up to the type of relationship that you have with your child. You know what I mean? So the most critical years of your child's life is from birth till 5. After 5, things get a little, you know, a little rough if you haven't been properly parenting. Now, if you decide to start parenting at 18, you better go buy yourself a lifetime supply of aspirin because you're going to always have a headache. Because at this point, you failed to tell the individual that's 18 that you are not an adult. You are just 18. Considered by the state, you know, whatever state recognizes that person to be 18. you are legally an adult. That means you can get married. That means you can sign a lease. You can get arrested. You can sign a contract. You can start a business. If you got the right, the right know-how. But at 18, some of these children, I'll probably say a lot of them, a high probability is, well, if I had to guess, 95%, 99%, I'd say, are very immature. See, I've been taking this psychology class, and the one thing that I learned is that is the frontal lobe of your brain that's like right up here. So like the lobe of your brain, like it's a lobe just like around here, I would say. Well, no, like this is the actual lobe, I think. Don't get me wrong, I ain't a doctor. But anyway, so by 25, that's when that lobe connects. Like it's like one piece now. Before then, it's not even connected. So before 25, you're not even fully functioning your brain at the fullest capacity, for it to operate correctly, for you to get the best use out of it is what I would say. You know what I mean? But if that's the case, now it's more than, the frontal lobe connecting. It's not like when it connects, then automatically your kid is a genius. Like that's not about to happen. What has to happen is that you have to be training this child from birth, even during pregnancy. Like some women say, well, I read to my baby at night, while they still in, in the woman's stomach. You know what I mean? Because they, the baby can hear, the mom's voice. You know what I mean? So you training your child from the inside. And, also when the baby comes out, you're doing the same thing. So it's your job as a parent to train your children. You know what I mean? When I was younger, I couldn't really, well, my parents wasn't the greatest of parents. I mean, I used to say that. I mean, they was, it's not a lie. They was good people, but the parenting skills sucked. So I could imagine that nobody was reading a book to me when I was inside my mom's stomach or training me to be this productive citizen, when I did become 18 or, 25 and I'm fully developed and I'm ready to take on the world. I got enough knowledge to go out there and, make a difference positively. Now, the downside of that is that, let's just say like this was a coin. It's like the flip of a coin. Like this is the, tails, this heads. So if you flip it, tails is bad. And it's on tails, then your child is, going down the wrong path. It flips and hit heads. Here's the other part. You're still going the wrong path. Because you really don't know which way you going. I mean, let me just walk that back a little bit. On the positive side, it's a lower probability that you'll go down the wrong path. Because ain't nobody showing the child like, well, you send somebody to the store, you say, well, hey, the Poppy store is at the corner. When you get to the corner, Gerard, make a left, and it's right there on 21st Street. Ain't nobody saying that for these kids for their future. They not saying, hey, go to school, go to high, pay attention, be an active student, so you can go to the next grade. You know what I mean? And then when they come in, they say, well, let me, they checking homework and, they doing all that, to make sure that the path that they, you set your child on, they going down the, the right direction. But that doesn't happen a lot of times in the inner city. A lot of parents just say, "Oh, well, just go to school," and then that's it. Like your kid going to just magically become smart. Now, don't get me wrong. Some kids are, they're intelligent for that to happen, but it's not all of them. Right now, it's two youth, I believe, I want to say 13 and 15. They were involved in the death of Mr. James Lambert. He's sitting in correctional institution right now. I didn't say jail because I'm not sure if that's where they're at, because they're minors. You know what I mean? So they may be, sentenced somewhere for youth. But the young lady, I believe she's 14. And the way that the court system goes, and being as though she black, her 16th birthday is probably going to be in jail. Her sweet 16 not going to be sweet about that. It's going to be in jail. Why? Because her parent failed her. Well, you'll probably say, well, how can you say that? Because the parent didn't say go out there and throw the cone at Mr. Lambert. You're absolutely right. The parent didn't say that. See, the parent isn't responsible for the child taking the action. The parent is responsible for the thoughts of the child to make that action. Now, I can tell one of my kids, go to the poppy store and, pick up a Pepsi or whatever like that. Now, I ain't say which one to pick. They can pick the Pepsi in the front or the Pepsi in the back. Only thing they know is they picking up a Pepsi. You know what I mean? When you give your child limited information, especially about safety or even ethics as a person, if you say something, well, just make sure you're a good person, you're not defining anything. You just say, well, make sure you're a good person. And then here's the other thing. How do we even know? Well, who says that you know what a good person is? You probably will say, well, who you think you is? I know what good is. And when the last time you looked up good in the dictionary? It ain't that deep. It is that deep. Because if it wasn't, Mr. Lambert would be alive today. First grade teacher in Virginia wouldn't have a hole through her hand and a hole in her hip if it wasn't that deep. I was talking with my daughter maybe a couple weeks ago. And she talking about friends. And I said, well, how do you determine who's your friend? And she said, well, I go off of my definition. I said, you ain't got no definition. Words already got definitions. Stick with them. Don't start creating your own definitions to stuff. And I'm pretty sure y'all seen that. People had their own definitions to certain words, and they wrong as hell. And they using these words in certain situations and contents, and you just as dumb as you can be, because they think they're intelligent enough. Why would you try to recreate something that's not broke? It don't make any sense. But people do it all the time. I tell my kids, I go by what something actually is. Even like when people say, "What, you judging me?" It's not judging you if I'm giving you back the facts that I know about you. It's judging you if I'm making accusations about you that I don't know about. That's actually just making accusations about you. You know what I mean? Or if I knew a parent that was bad and I said something like, "Oh, you so horrible, your kid gonna go to jail." Like, that's judging somebody. Because now you just put a judgment on that situation. Now, is it a probability that kid could go to jail because the person is a bad parent? Absolutely. But I don't know that. Because I don't know that person well enough for that to happen. I could have, just could have been like a one-time situation. One-time situation. The little boy might have threw a book at his sister or whatever like that. And then I just said, well, when he grow up, he going to jail. Like, know what you're talking about. Stop just saying stuff because you feel bad or you don't want nobody to hurt your feelings. Like, you too old for that. Because your kids are born to be the ones that's going to pay the consequences because you don't want somebody judging you. And it's so bad that you don't even judge your own kids. You don't make decisions on your own children because you don't want to hurt their feelings. I hurt my kids' feelings all the time. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but it's not, I ain't got time for them to do something stupid. Because I don't want to go to, I don't even know where it's at, downtown somewhere, the CC, the CJA, whatever it's called, where they hold the people in jail. I ain't going down there. I don't even want to go. They don't even need to go. They go, we walking past it, going somewhere else. Or riding past it. I do Uber in the morning, and I at least pick up, I would say out of the month, at least one youth going to the criminal justice building. Well, center, so it's the CJC. And that's too many. And I'm not even saying it's just one youth per month. That's just all I get. So I'm sure it's more than that. So let me get off this sandbox and tell you what else is going on in the foundation, if y'all care to hear that. So let's see here. So we got youth focus group coming up this Saturday. So that's that right there. That's going to happen this Saturday. The youth will be talking about effective and ineffective parenting. How either or plays a part on the longevity, well, how either or affects youth, ineffective and effective. The purpose for doing this is that I want parents to hear it out of kids' own mouth that either what you're doing is productive to my life or not productive to my life. So we're going to definitely have that. So that's the 21st at 1 o'clock. It's virtual. You can come on to my page and check it out if I didn't turn you off or whatever that would be. Hold it. Let's see. Hope y'all didn't see that there. All right. So next week we will be interviewing Miss Kelowna Roberts. She is the CEO of the Smart Center of Child Development and Technology Center. So we'll be interviewing her next week. Pick her brain and see how we can better use education. Let me see what the topic on that was. The importance of education, how education is important and vital to youth, in the city. Let me see if I'll make sure I ain't missing nothing here. I definitely need somebody to do this. So before we end the show, we always do a birthday shout out. So it's this young man's birthday. Let me try to get this thing out the way there. So I believe, Alan is a newborn. So congratulations to his parents. He was born on the 14th, so he's 5 days old. And we just want to congratulate his family and excuse me, for bringing him into the world. I hope they was, checking out the show and taking some advice or whatever in regards to you know better development for their son. Also, I don't have a picture of her, but our church mother passed. I go to Victory Christian Center. Her name is Mother Coleman. If you give me a second, I'll see if I can find it right fast. Mother Sylvia Coleman. She helped Dr. Ellis with the formation of the church. Well, at least a place to have it. You know what I mean? Um, in 85, I believe. And she has been a definite staple in the lives of the Victory Christian Center family. Sorry if I'm stumbling all over the place. I'm trying to find this picture for you guys. So she's been a staple for that. Let me pull her up right fast here. That's not it. There you go. All right, so there she go right there. So her funeral was the 14th. I'm sorry. The 14th, she was an instrumental part of Victory Christian Center of Philadelphia. The church is located at 5220 Whippy Avenue. Actually, they're currently having a revival right now, but she was definitely a very outspoken woman, peaceful, well spoken, loving, and the title mother fits her perfectly because in her presence, that was she treated you like you were one of her own children. You know what I mean? So, we want to just send our prayers and condolences to the Coleman family. So that's it for me. You guys, I want to thank you for coming out and clicking on and checking out the show. We just want to try to give some encouraging words to parents in the community and the youth, you know what I mean, to help put them on the right track. So you guys have an excellent evening. Thanks for coming out, and God bless.